Hey everybody, this is Kyle, and today I'm going to start a short video series talking about different guitar players that have influenced me at different stages of my guitar playing. I've been playing guitar off and on since I was 4, and as cool as it would sound, I really can't claim anything from 4 to 10 as anything really useful in terms of my guitar playing and developing skill or technique, because it's pretty much something I plug in, make some noise, think I was playing stuff, and that was about it. I do remember the first thing I learned on my harmony guitar that this is an A note. So growing up around St. Louis, there's a famous classic rock radio station called KSHE 95. And listening to KSHE growing up, one of the first bands I heard that made me want to play guitar was Rush. Moving Pictures came out when I was in 4th grade, and hearing Tom Sawyer, even though it's synthesizer, and some of the other songs on there really made me want to take guitar serious. So my brother had a sheet music book for Rush's Moving Pictures, and I set out to learn it. I had started band, moving into 5th grade, I was learning to read music, I knew a little bit about reading music, and I was trying as hard as I could, and that's when my brother stepped in to help me get started. Spring of my 5th grade year was very, very important because this album came out. ZZ Top's Eliminator came out. This album really got me pushed into learning guitar, even though I never learned any song off this album. Isn't that the dopest haircut, for real? For real. I mean, that is pure 80s right there. That's the guitar player from Quiet Riot. Quiet Riot, Rush, ZZ Top, those were some early bands that really got me going to want to play guitar. I'm gonna share something really honest here. From every birthday from, I guess, when I was 6 to maybe 11, I had one wish when I blew out the candles on my birthday cake. And that was for these boots that Gene Simmons wears. In case you don't know, kids, this is Gene. I was born on his birthday, so I'm like a little present to Gene with the cool orange import vinyl. Inspired me to learn some more guitar, as well as this famous guy. I think that there's not a guitar player that plays electric that hasn't been motivated by Eddie Van Halen's work in some way or another. So as I got going learning guitar, my brother was my main teacher. He's the one that taught me everything until Guitar for the Practicing Musician came out, and then that was a big gateway. The issue they had Mr. Crowley and YYZ by Rush, that was the biggest gateway, and that was a few years later. Two of the biggest players I admired as I was getting started were Alex Lifeson of Rush and Carlos Santana. The album Abraxis with Black Magic Woman, I would jam to that almost every day when I'd come home from school. That was something I would do. I had a boombox on my amp. I had it cranked up. I knew where to set my amp volume so it mixed well, and I just sit there and play it over and over. And a lot of my phrasing, I think, is very much Santana influenced. The main guitar player that made me want to be a technical player with some flamboyance was Steve Vai. After the movie Crossroads and that ending dueling scene, everybody wanted to do that. And he's probably responsible for all the shredding in the 80s being harmonic minor, major Phrygian, whatever you want to call it. But that kind of diminished mode kind of run and with the arpeggios, that was just so awesome sounding. And everyone wanted to get into Paganini and all these other, classical players, the Bach pieces, the translated on guitar. That was a huge part for a while, until I was a freshman in high school. So freshman year, the Beastie Boys' License to Ill came out, and that was such a huge cultural impact of an album. Later on in my freshman year, I discovered Metallica, and Kirk Hammett, along with Steve Vai, some of the technical playing that he was doing, as well as the ferocity of metal, was amazing. I remember I saw some tab in a magazine, and this was way pre-internet stuff, for Master of Puppets, and I was playing along, and a friend of mine had it on tape and let me borrow it. I remember it was Easter morning of my freshman year, and I was up early to get some candy and all this stuff, and I put in that tape as I was waiting for the rest of my family to wake up. And I didn't notice how fast it said to play it in the tab, and I was completely blown away. But that just unlocked this whole thing inside me that I just want music to be a force. I want music that I play and that I want to play to be something that moves you, that grabs you and gives you energy. I'm not sure if I accomplished that, but a lot of times that's my motivation inside myself. Back when I was in high school, pretty much everything was on tape. Yeah, every once in a while you'd get records. And my friends and I, we were way too poor to have CDs when CD players came out. So we'd have tapes. Anybody had a boombox with 2 cassette decks on it so you could make a copy of a tape? Yeah, we made copies of a copy, and that's how we would get songs. But through the 80s, I would probably say Lifeson, Santana, Hammett were some of the most influential guitar players to me personally. There's so much music I didn't mention because I didn't want this to be like a 5-day video, like one of those things, where you're streaming for a week and He-Man comes in and starts singing songs and all this other stuff just to keep things. What am I talking about? There's so much other music at that time. After freshman year, and I got into more metal and more punk, Sex Pistols, DRI, Cro-Mags, there are all these awesome bands. Of course, Slayer. How can you not include Slayer? Anthrax, Megadeth, and a lot of my guitar playing was very metal. A lot of my interest in listening, of course, was that and a lot of the punk stuff. So the next part of the series, I'm going to get into guitar players in the 90s that influenced me and some of the different musical directions I was going into. So enjoy the ending song. Dweeb, the 80s were stupid.